look at these images, these are also some of the equipment that's been recovered, and every bit of equipment is very essential part of the damaged engine and the undercarriage. We're told that this Air India aircraft hit two buildings. It first crashed into the junior doctors hostel. The flight then crashed into the senior doctors hostel, and at the junior doctors hostel, that's the first building that took maximum impact. But given the size of the aircraft, so as it yawed and then came crashing down, before it went up in that huge orange ball of smoke, it first hit the first building and then the second building, and then sadly the aircraft broke into multiple pieces. The aircraft, since it was bound for London Gatwick for a 9-hour-long flight, both the wings were full of fuel. Because of the impact, the engine caught fire, the fuel caught fire, and that orange ball of smoke. So the flight data recorder, as our experts were telling us, is in the tail end of the aircraft. A lot of information, in fact, every little bit of information is recorded in the black box, or the FDR, flight data recorder. Though it's called the black box, usually it's orange in color, so that it can be seen whether at sea or in snow. The aim is to get all the flight data from the point that the aircraft was in motion, or when all the drills were on, every conversation between the pilots, the announcements made, conversation between the pilot and the ATC, every bit, every movement is recorded in the FDR. Thousands and thousands of parameters are recorded in the flight data recorder, and it's a painstaking job to go through every bit. But then that's the way aircraft accident investigators, they piece together what could have led to this crash from the initial images. Some of our experts on flight safety, they've been able to glean some information. Soon after takeoff, it appears that the engines lost power. Since it yawed to a side, perhaps the left engine lost power, but then there wasn't enough time for the other engine. Again, it's a matter of investigation, and details would be available. Did both engines suddenly lose power, and the aircraft, it didn't have enough altitude to even climb, take a loop and then come back and land? Because there was hardly any altitude, it just crashed, and there are damages and losses of life on ground and in the aircraft. The crash was moments after takeoff. The multiple images that you see on your television screen are of the damage to the aircraft, damage on ground, the fire that engulfed those buildings. The last image there, of course, is of that huge ball of fire that led to the crash. Faizan, if you're still with us, I'd like to understand from you, sir, how long, Mirza Faizan, how long before the black box is recovered and decoded and deciphered?
So, I'm a trained air crash investigator as well. So it is a very long and painstaking process. So first it has to be recovered, and this black box, the CVR and FDR, the cockpit voice recorder, and the flight data recorder, jointly called as a black box. Then it is because since it has gone through immense heat, so it has to go through the process to preserve the data, and then the data is taken out bit by bit. Now, you just do not take the data and infer something. So the data is corroborated with different phases of the flight, height of the aircraft, and different other situations in an aircraft, or around situations leading to the crash, and then a story is built. So flight data recorder just tells which what are the different parameters, flight parameters. They just give us data. But the story has been built by combining everything, combining the environmental situation, combining the other situation, a lot of other situations. So it's a painstakingly slow process. But in this case, FDR, I think by end of today it will be Once the fire comes down, they will be able to recover it. And I'll say 3 to 6 months, depending on what kind of resources the government of India or the Boeing provides, it will take 3 to 6 months for us to get the whole proper story.
Would this, Air Marshal Kapoor, lead to those bigger questions? Okay, Faizan, Mirza Faizan, if I would come back to you, there were some issues that were raised, of course, with another aircraft, with the 737 Boeing, safety issues, out of court settlements, of course, a different aircraft, different category. But are there issues that have been raised in the past with the 787 too?
Oh, no. 787 is a perfect bird, and no major issues. When a new aircraft comes into service, there are some hiccups here and there, and like any other system, any other thing, but no major issues with 787. Yes, Boeing 737 Max got into issues with its MCAS system. So, I mean, this crash could not come at a worse time for Boeing. Boeing is already struggling with the 737 issues. It's already struggling with the failure of Starliner, which led to Sunita Williams getting stuck up there in International Space Station.
True.
And now this. So it's a tough time for Boeing. But as far as aircraft itself is concerned, it's a beautiful aircraft, very well designed, very well built. As I said, I have been a part of the design of the avionics system, multiple avionics system of this design. I know the process which have been followed. So, I do not see that. If the bird has come in a newly in the service, we can say that, oh, you know what, this is new in the service. You are showing tantrums, which we say. But no, it's an old plane. It's an old system. I don't think this system could, the aircraft could be, design issues could be there.
Okay, stay with me as I bring into this conversation Captain Saurabh Bhatnagar, former senior commander of Airbus A320, has flown with Indigo, Air India Express, but of course Airbus, the other category, Boeing and a Boeing 787-8, completely a different category. But Captain Bhatnagar, your appreciation, sir, when you look at those images and all the information that's come in so far, what would your assessment be?
Hi, good evening, Gaurav. First of all, it's a very tragic accident which has happened today, and naturally one of the worst. What the video footage everybody is showing and what I'm getting from unconfirmed sources from my pilot fraternity,
Yes,
it appears to be prima facie a case of very likelihood of multiple bird hits leading to the loss of engine thrust, and thereafter aircraft going to ground. And that is one thing which we can see, because even if the attitude of the aircraft after takeoff while going down, it looked like a very controlled fashion the aircraft has gone down. And also, I believe that the pilot had, the
given out a
transmitted mayday.
mayday.
That's a distress call, which eventually we transmit in whenever the aircraft is under grave imminent danger, or something, when they want on, it's going to be out of control. So it is very unlikely that there is some technical fault, as been told. 787 Dreamliner is one of the wonderful flyby, latest aircraft, and
Yes.
Having a technical fault, and that too for an international flight with VIPs on board, is very unlikely, right?
That's a good point you make, sir. Stay with me.